Okay, going live. Hello, so my name's Brad. This is you're on the live channel, the Inspirational Ambivert. This is the first episode of Let's Get Inspired. This is a live stream. It's going to include a little bit about my story, about myself, and then what about the channel that I've created. And this journey that I'm gonna go on. Hopefully people will join me on this journey, and my intentions are just simply to help people. That's what it is, to help people. So this is what I'll just talk about my channel briefly, because this is the first live vlog that I've done, and the other stuff that I've got on my channel is more it's more condensed and constructed in a way that's a bit more polished, let's say. This is just me freestyling, speaking as best as I can. So my name of my channel is Inspirational Ambivert. And I'm sure what inspiration, obviously I'm sure a lot of you already know what inspirational means: to inspire, to encourage people to do well, to do better for themselves. But ambivert is, that's what a basic, what I see myself as, because usually most people have heard of introvert, and they've heard of extrovert, and obviously introvert on an extreme level are more like, they don't like socializing with people, they're very quiet, they prefer one-to-one interactions, they like to be on their own more. That's the basics of it. They're the quiet person in the room most of the time. And then you, on the other end of the spectrum, and obviously, sorry, the introvert, they get a lot of their energy from just being alone. They recharge, which is partly how I see myself. But then there's also extrovert, and an extrovert is obviously someone who gets a lot of energy from being around people. They love speaking all the time. They're the life and soul of the party sometimes. They just love meeting people and being around people. And introverts and introvert, there's no one's not better than the other, should I say. Sorry, the light's in the way there. Move that out of the way a bit. One's not better than the other, but I find a lot of people are in between, not one extreme, and that will be referred to as an ambivert. An ambivert is a mixture of the two. I've got a video about that if you want to discover more about that, by the way, about what an ambivert is. But I see myself as an ambivert, so I'm in between the two, and that's what I went with the channel name, Inspirational Ambivert. So that's why I've gone with that. So the channel, let's just talk about the channel briefly. The channel is going to cover motivational topics, self-improvement, things about self-improvement, resilience, psychology, stoicism, about wisdom and things like that. What else have we got? Strategies for self-doubt, being underestimated, the psychology of being underestimated, things that, there's a lot of different things that fall under these categories, obviously. It's going to be about personal development, and these are the things that I'm quite attuned to, quite how do I say it? I'm attracted to these things. I'm interested in these things, and these things have helped me get through life, really, through reading books and watching inspirational people. The list can go on and on. I've not read law. I've read quite a few books, let's say. I'm still learning, though, let's be honest. But I'm just trying to make people's lives a little bit better, give my own perspective, give my own experiences, and hopefully try and make people's lives a little bit better. So as I've said, this is the first episode of my live vlog. I aim to do this once a week because I work full time as a nurse, as a scrub nurse, which is in like a surgical theatre, supporting surgeons, basically, hand instruments to surgeons, basically, amongst other things. And that's what I do full time. But I'm going to be doing this in my spare time. So hopefully every Friday I'm going to do, or at least once a week, should I say, I'll be doing a live vlog like this, speaking like this. And then I'm going to do, and the rest of what I'm going to do, the content is going to include shorter videos around different topics, about personal development topics, psychology. Also, I'm going to come to talk about toxic people, and etc. etc. But check out if you want to have a look, just check out my channel, see what's on there so far. I've only been at this for when did I start? I started on the 30th of December, and now it's the 11th of April. But I've been making content every week. I'm going to continue to do so. But please know, I am, just to let you know, I am a nurse, a professional nurse, but I am not a medical professional, and a medical professional will be a doctor. I'm not a psychologist, by the way, either. But I do have experiences. I do have knowledge. I have experiences and perspectives. Doesn't mean I'm definitely right in everything, and I'm not going to. One size doesn't fit all with all these things. But please note that I'm just as a reference, I am not a doctor. I am not a trained psychologist or any of these things. But I still believe that I can share my perspectives and help people. So enough about that. So we're going to move on next to, right, so that's that covered. So the next thing we're going to talk about is just about my life. I'm going to just bring this up once and then go from there. I come from a town called Darwin, and that's not Darwin like in Australia. It's not as nice as that. Nowhere near as nice as that. It's Darwin. It's Darwen. It's in the northwest of England, which is close to Manchester, as a point of reference for people that don't know England very well. It's also very close to a town called Blackburn, which isn't amazing either, if I'm honest. If you're into football, you've heard of Blackburn Rovers. They won the Premier League in 94, 95, but they're not a good team anymore. Not that I'm that bothered about football, but there you go. So anyway, I was born in a small town called Darwin, which is a working class town. There's not much there really. It was a big player in the Industrial Revolution, believe it or not. A lot of mills. This is going back a few hundred years ago, about 100 years ago, should I say, just a bit over. We used to make cotton and things like that, and I suppose that was its heyday back then. But this was obviously a long time ago. But it's just a working class town, not that many job opportunities. And if you come from, like myself, from a working class background, you're not going to get the best. You're going to get average, let's say average education, which is what I got. And there's not much expected of you. Maybe just work in a factory or work in a building site, which is nothing wrong with those things, by the way, or work in a shop. But you're not going to be, you're not really destined to be a doctor or a scientist or anything like that at all. So I've grown up in a working class background, not much going on. This is just a really brief, I didn't have a bad childhood. Mum and dad were nice enough. They weren't perfect, but nobody is. But they did their best, I suppose. And I just grew up there, and then I got to like 50, just doing what a young boy does, playing out in the streets, playing football. This is all before internet, obviously, because I'm 42 now. Yada, yada, yada. Anyway, so then obviously, eventually I got to 15 and I started to smoke cannabis because I was a bit lost. I was just lost and insecure. I didn't like myself. Started to smoke cannabis, hang around with people, hanging around with friends that, let's say, they were toxic influences. But let's be real, I was part of that problem. You can't just blame it on everyone else. It was me as well. I was involved. I was participating in things that you shouldn't do. So you start off on a bit of weed and you're drinking, you're listening to music, you're having fun to an extent, but it's not healthy. And then it's like they say the gateway drug, don't they? Cannabis or alcohol. And then I started to take ecstasy tablets, and then I started to go out clubbing all the time. I was a young guy then. I was in my teenage years. I was lost though. Didn't know what I wanted to do. Just worked in dead-end jobs, like working in a factory or in a shop, earning bottom dollar. But I wanted to do well, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I just hung around with lots of different people linked to the clubbing scene, music scene. So I don't know if anyone have heard of these, like Wigan Pier, Maxime's, Monroe's, and other clubs where dance music was there, old school dance music, trance music, bounce music. I was a little bit of a child, if I'm honest. That's what if you're going to put me in a group, if you're going to stereotype me at the time. So you're taking ecstasy tablets. I used to go out. I used to work, but I'd go out at the weekend. And then what else would I just hang around with some toxic people, crazy situations, which I'll go into depth for at another time, but I'm not going to do that today. because there's a lot of stories that can unravel. A lot of life experiences gained from that, though. Anyway, so yeah, taking ecstasy tablets and then going on to like cocaine, sniffing cocaine, not good. Ketamine, not good, very strong, psychedelic that, by the way. I didn't do all these at the same time, of course. It was just on and off, just session, taking drugs at the weekend, and then I'd barely keep my job. I'd just be like, at the weekends, I'd go out at the weekend, and then during the week, I'd just be like zombified. I don't know how I managed to keep jobs. I used to get warnings all the time. I was bad, but I always had a job though. I always paid my way, which was a positive, I suppose, in the situation. And I carried on like that for years, honest to God, years. But I wanted to quit. And I'd be like a contradiction as well. Like I love exercising, I love training, boxing, and used to like boxing and circuit training and weights and cycling and all that. I used to love stuff like that. But I'd go from exercising, then session, exercising, then session. And then this went on for years until I was about 25, 26, 27. And then I started to come away from it all. But it was difficult because all I had around me was other people taking drugs on the and people that were linked to that social scene. And that's all you know. Do you know what I mean? I didn't have any other friends outside of that. And the activity, the friendship is built upon the activity, and the activity is session, it's taking drugs. So it's not good, but that's what you do. But that's all you know. So it's very difficult to come away from. And it took me a long, long, long time, man. I'm telling you, it took me a long time. And how I achieved that, because I was insecure, and the drugs give you that boost. So you're insecure. I was introvert, quite. Like I say, I'm an ambivert, but I was more introverted than extroverted. I was just really insecure when I was younger. Didn't know myself either. I wasn't compos mentis at the time. Sorry, I'm just going to turn that off because that's going to be loud. So yeah, sorry about the noise then. One moment. So I wasn't compos mentis. I didn't know myself at the time. So you just get lost in everything. You don't know what you're doing, but you just obviously you're not succeed. I didn't feel like I was succeeding. And drugs can give you an instant hit of feeling good. So it's like a substitute for success. Taking drugs can be a substitute for success. And it sounds crazy, you can have fun. Taking drugs can be fun. Of course it can. Because if it didn't feel good, people wouldn't do it. I wasn't into the harder stuff, by the way, at the time. Like I didn't inject anything or heroin or anything. It was just more like party drugs, stuff like that. But it's not good. It takes everything though as well. It takes your time. It takes your energy. It takes your money. It leaves you with nothing at the end of it. But anyway, long story short, so you're stuck in this circle. You're trying to get away from it, but you don't know anything else. You don't have any other. I didn't have any other friend groups at the time, so it's hard to get away. And you're influenced by all these things, and you're young and you're stupid and you don't know yourself. But what got me away from things was actually reading books. And these books, a lot of these books, I was really attracted to personal development books, psychology books, which cover so many different things like toxic people. And then you read about toxic people, and if you're wise enough, I could see myself within these toxic people. I could see others, and I started to understand the behavior of the people around me and myself. And I read loads of different books. Like I was a bit of a people pleaser as well. Still am a little bit. I still am a people pleaser, but not as bad as I was. And I read things about that, about being more assertive, about being people pleaser, and I could go on and on with the amount of books I've read, loads. But they really helped me. They got me away from that life that I led. And if I'd have asked my 25-year-old self, "Oh, Brad, you're going to be a nurse," I'd have laughed at you. "Oh, Brad, you're going to go to university," I'd have gone, "No way, no chance. No chance am I going to go to university. I can't." I used to believe that I couldn't afford it. And I used to believe that I wasn't intelligent enough to go to university as well. I was holding myself back. But that's what I believed. I can't afford it. I'm not smart enough. But I did eventually. I had to wait until my 30s or 37 until I went to university, and now I'm a fully qualified nurse. So I used to take drugs back in my early 20s and teens for a good amount of time. But looking back, I'm a different person now. Thank God. I'm a lot healthier. I don't drink. I don't smoke most of the time. Every now and again I do, but not much, and I don't miss it at all. But it's the reading that got me there. It's the reading that got me there. It's the reading about, there's so many different topics, isn't there? Personal development. It's like motivational books, confidence books, resilience books, reading autobiographies. But if you read, I believe if you do read enough of these books, it can help you. And that's what I was really drawn to. And that's what got me, honest to God, reading got me away from what I was and who I was. And if I'd have carried on, because some of my old, I'm ranting on here, but some of my friends from back then, they're dead now. They've killed themselves. Sounds really grim. They've hung themselves, some of them. Sounds brutal. I've been around, and they didn't change. They carried on. So they were living a 16-year-old's lifestyle at 30, 35. It's not good. It's not good. And a lot of people are stuck in that way, especially when I go back to living in a working class town like Darwin. It's the countryside's nice, but a lot of it's let's be honest, it's a shithole. Some of it's a shithole, and there's not many jobs, not so much hope. And I believe that, especially, I'm talking as a man now, women have different issues, I'm sure, of course they do. But imagine being a young man and you're influenced by media and other things, and you just want to look cool. You want to have nice clothes. You want the nice car. You want nice things, but you've not got the education at the time. You look around, the jobs aren't great, and even if you do get a job, it's not well paid, and it's a job that you hate. So what do you do? You sell drugs. Not saying that's the right thing to do. That's what a lot of people do. And then you've got a little bit of, let's say, status to an extent, and it gives you an income, and it gives you money, and it gives you all those nice things. And I suppose in a way that's a good thing. I'm not judging anyone that does that, by the way. That's how they make the money. But it's like a house built on sand, potentially, because obviously if you get caught by the police, it's game over. You're in jail, or you've got a criminal record at the very least. Or then there's also the threat of other people. So these people that sometimes your friends can be your enemies in disguise. I'll say it again. Sometimes your friends can be your enemies in disguise. So these people that are around you, you're all happy-go-lucky, you're seshing, you're all feeling good, you're doing this, doing that, and you're telling them what you're doing and blah, 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 and they seem really open to it, but they could stab you in the back. So if they get caught, they're going to grass you up. And for what people grassing up means, basically, is they're going to tell if someone else gets caught by the police, they're going to tell the police that you're doing drugs, you're selling drugs potentially, just to give themselves a light sentence. And then finally, with regard to that, this is this circle that you can be in. The circle is eating itself. These people we're all in this circle, I suppose, this twisted world, because it's a different world to what normal people live in. And then there's people that will just they'll find out a drug, if someone's a drug dealer, obviously, and they'll find out that they've got a stash. They could be growing weed or whatever, and they can just break into the house and go in with their knives. It sounds brutal. This happens, and then take all the stuff. And what you're going to do? You're not going to ring the police, are you? Oh, I've just had my stash robbed. So yeah, it's a vicious circle. It's a price to pay. So yes, you might be getting loads of money. You're going to get the success. Might feel like success. You're doing well. You could buy a new car, nice things. Maybe again, you work from a working class background. You haven't got much. You haven't got an education. So a lot of people do that, and I'm not judging them. I'm really not, man. I'm really not. I'm not condoning it, but I do understand it, and I don't understand why people do it. But it's not sustainable for most people. It isn't. And a lot of people are just funding their own. Sorry, scratching my microphone there. Most people are just funding their own habits by being in this world. So it's not sustainable. It's not good. And I personally I wasn't a drug dealer or anything, but I was taking drugs. I was in and around it. That was my life. But if you spoke to me now, I work at a hospital now. I work as a nurse, a professional nurse. You'd have gone, you'd have talked to me now. And if I didn't tell you about these things, you wouldn't think it. But I'm really grateful that I'm away from it, and I'm just trying. Obviously, going back to the fact that I read a lot of books about personal development. I'm just trying to share that with the world. That's what this channel is about, and that's what it's for. So enough about me, enough about my channel. I think I've shared enough on that. I don't know what else to say really. She's gone 20 minutes now. So I'm just going to finish with this. This is my partner's, it's basically a book, Vex King, and it's called Good Vibes, Good Life. I'm not sponsored by these, by the way. It's just a really good book. It's not a big book, but it's about personal development. And what she's got is this diary. You can't really see it there, sorry. It's a diary and it's got quotes on it. So I'm just going to, one moment, let me see. I'm just going to see what it says for today, which is it's Friday, April the 11th. And this is the quote that's on there. And then I'm just going to discuss it a little bit before saying goodbye. All right. This is what I'm going to leave you with. So today's quote is boundaries prevent resentment toward people you care about. By creating a healthy dynamic that allows you to honor your needs, you can show up happily and authentically to your connections. So boundaries putting boundaries in place. Wow, right. Think about that. I'm just dissecting this now as we speak from my own perspective. Comments or whatever below. Comment below if you agree or if you don't agree, or if you've got any perspectives. Please share them because we can all learn together. But anyway, I'll do my best to, let's say, break this down. So boundaries prevent resentment. So putting boundaries in place with people, like, don't talk to me like that. I want to be treated in a different way. Easy said than done when it's family. I think we all need to learn something from that. I think I need to sort this out. Actually, I'm going to sort this one out soon. Anyway, that's another discussion. So boundaries can prevent resentment. So it can open if it's done well. I suppose when you do put boundaries in place, so it can initially throw people off, because if someone's comfortable with disrespecting you and they're just used to doing it all the time, and then all of a sudden that person that you think can get away with it they're always good for a joke, blah blah blah, I can say what I want to them, they're not bothered, but that person could be inside really resentful, and then all of a sudden they start putting boundaries in place. Basically, you're turning it back on the other person, aren't you? You're saying, no, don't talk to me like that. Why are you talking to me like that? Are you okay? Why are you saying that? These are just basic examples. That person can then potentially be off with you. So it could take a while for that to kick in. But I think it's good to do that with people that you care about. Maybe if you do put boundaries in place, maybe put them in subtly to begin with, and then give that person time. Give them time to think it through. Some people will be receptive to that very quickly if they're open enough, but some people won't at all. So you have to give them a bit of time. And some people, do you know what? You put boundaries in place, and then they won't even want to talk to you anymore because they're not getting what they want out of you, which means that they're not meant to be in your life. Sounds a bit harsh that sometimes, especially if it could be family. But I think boundaries are important. Don't take any shit, man. Don't take any shit, but be a nice person. But then, so going back to it, sorry. So boundaries prevent resentment towards people you care about. And this can help create, hopefully, if you do this correctly and you're around people that are open to it, it can create a healthy dynamic that allows you to honor your needs, because we all have our own needs and our own wants. And then you can show up happily and authentically to your connections, so you can have happier and healthier connections. This is something I need to sort out. This is something I need to sort out myself. See, I told you I don't have all the answers. I really don't. and I don't pretend to either. I'm learning as well. Oh my God, I'm still learning. But through doing these discussions, we'll get there. So that's all I've got to say, because I don't want to rant on and just run out of things to say and just be sat here like a knob. I don't want to do that. I'm 25 minutes in now, but I'm going to do this again. So if you've watched this, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you want to. If you want to watch more content, just check out my channel, Inspirational Ambivert. I'm going to be releasing new stuff every week. And if you want me to divulge into anything that I've said in more depth or anything like that, just comment and I'll do my best to answer that. But anyway, thank you and goodbye. Look after yourselves and just let's try and make this world a little bit of a better place.